When single father Michael and his daughter Lily are cruelly rejected from an upscale restaurant on her birthday, a wealthy widow witnesses their humiliation. Eleanor Winters, the restaurant owner's widow, not only invites them to dinner but changes their lives forever in an unexpected act of kindness. Before watching full story, comment below from where you watching. Also like and subscribe for more Karen stories. Michael stood nervously at the entrance of La Maison, the fanciest restaurant in town. His worn jacket felt completely out of place among the chandeliers and marble floors. Today was special. It was his 8-year-old daughter Lily's birthday, and she had dreamed of eating at a fancy place with chandeliers for months, ever since seeing it in her favorite princess movie. "Daddy, look how pretty it is," Lily whispered, eyes wide with wonder. She wore her best dress, a blue one with tiny stars that Michael had worked extra shifts to buy last Christmas. Her hair was tied back with a ribbon that had once belonged to her mother. The host, a tall man with slicked back hair and a perfectly pressed suit, looked down at them with cold eyes. "Do you have a reservation, sir?" he asked, his tone suggesting he already knew the answer. "No, I'm sorry," Michael replied, his voice tight with anxiety. "It's my daughter's birthday and I was hoping we might get a table. Even just for a quick meal. It would mean the world to her." "That's impossible," the host interrupted with a dismissive wave. "We're fully booked for months. This isn't the kind of place one simply walks into." His gaze traveled slowly from Michael's worn jeans to Lily's simple dress. "Besides," he added with thinly veiled contempt, "we have a dress code that must be maintained. Our clientele expects a certain atmosphere." Several nearby guests turned to stare, some whispering behind their hands. A couple at a nearby table exchanged smirks. Michael felt his face burn with shame and anger. "But Daddy promised," Lily said quietly, her bottom lip trembling as she looked up at Michael. A single tear slid down her cheek. "You said I could have a princess dinner for my birthday." "Rules are rules," the host said coldly, not bothering to lower his voice. His smile was practiced but didn't reach his eyes. "Perhaps the burger place down the street would be more appropriate for your situation. They accept walk-ins and have a more," he paused, meaningfully, relaxed atmosphere. Michael's hands clenched into fists at his sides. The humiliation was almost too much to bear. After working double shifts for weeks to save for this dinner, after promising Lily her special day, after everything they had been through, losing her mother to cancer last year, this was simply too much. He took a deep breath, determined not to lose his temper in front of his daughter. She had already seen enough sadness to last a lifetime. "Come on, Lily," he said gently, taking her small hand in his. "We'll find somewhere else to celebrate your special day. Somewhere even better." Lily nodded bravely, though her eyes were still filled with tears. This broke Michael's heart more than any rude host ever could. Since Sarah's death, he had tried so hard to keep their little world together, to be both mother and father to Lily. Moments like this made him feel like he was failing. As they turned to leave, a woman sitting alone at a nearby table stood up. She was elegant in a simple black dress that somehow looked more expensive than anything else in the room. Her silver hair was cut in a stylish bob, and she wore a single strand of pearls around her neck. The restaurant seemed to recognize her importance, as several people nodded respectfully in her direction. "Excuse me," she called out, her voice clear and commanding. "Young man, please wait a moment." Michael paused, turning back uncertainly. He didn't want more humiliation, but something in the woman's voice stopped him from walking away. The woman walked straight to the host, who immediately straightened his posture and adopted a deferential smile. "Mrs. Winters," he said nervously, "is there something I can help you with?" "Yes, Thomas. This gentleman and his lovely daughter will be joining me for dinner tonight," she said firmly, in a tone that suggested she was used to giving orders and having them obeyed. The host's face paled visibly. "But Mrs. Winters, as I explained to them, we have certain standards." "Standards?" Mrs. Winters raised a perfectly shaped eyebrow. Her voice was quiet but carried throughout the now silent restaurant. "Is kindness not one of them? Is making a child cry on her birthday part of the excellent service my late husband's restaurant has been known for all these years?" The room fell completely silent. Even the soft clinking of silverware stopped as everyone turned to watch the scene unfolding before them. "Your late husband's?" Michael began, suddenly realizing with a shock who this woman was. Eleanor Winters, widow of the famous chef Richard Winters, who had founded La Maison 25 years ago. The restaurant was legendary in the city. "Thomas, set 2 more places at my table," Mrs. Winters continued, "and bring the birthday menu. We have a celebration to attend to." The host scrambled to obey, his arrogance vanished. Mrs. Winters turned to Michael and Lily with a warm smile. "I'm Eleanor. Would you join me? Dining alone can be so boring." Lily's eyes widened. "Is this like in fairy tales when the nice queen helps people?" Eleanor laughed, a genuine heartfelt sound. "Something like that, my dear. And what's your name, princess?" "I'm Lily and I'm 8 today," she announced proudly. 8? What an important age, Eleanor said seriously. "We must celebrate properly." As they were led to Eleanor's table, the best in the house, Michael noticed every eye on them. But instead of judgment, there was curiosity and admiration. "I don't know how to thank you," Michael said quietly. "No thanks needed," Eleanor replied. "I've been watching how you speak to your daughter. You remind me of my James, always gentle, always kind. We didn't have children, but James always said a restaurant should welcome everyone like family." The dinner was magical. Course after delicious course arrived, each more wonderful than the last. The chef himself came out to create a chocolate castle dessert that made Lily gasp with delight. During dinner, Michael shared his story, how he'd been struggling since his wife Sarah's death, working as a mechanic by day and taking online classes at night to finish his engineering degree. "Sarah always said experiences matter more than things," Michael explained. "That's why I wanted to bring Lily here, even though it stretched our budget." Eleanor nodded thoughtfully. "Sarah sounds wise." Then she smiled. "And now I think it's time for a surprise." She signaled to the manager who approached with an envelope. "Michael," Eleanor said, "James and I created a scholarship fund for promising students who show exceptional character." She passed the envelope to him. "The fund has been inactive since James passed, but I'd like to restart it, with you as our first recipient." Michael opened the envelope with trembling hands. Inside was a certificate for a full scholarship to complete his engineering degree. "I can't accept this," he whispered. "You can and you will," Eleanor said firmly. "Consider it my investment in Lily's future. And speaking of Lily's future," she turned to the little girl. "How would you like to have dinner here for every birthday? As my special guest?" Lily's eyes grew round. "Really? Every birthday forever?" "Every single one," Eleanor confirmed with a warm smile. "And perhaps sometimes in between too. An old woman gets quite lonely in a big house by herself." 1 month later, Michael stood in Eleanor's kitchen. What had started as a thank you offer to fix her leaky faucet had turned into a weekend tradition. He would bring Lily over, fix things around Eleanor's beautiful home, and then they would cook dinner together. Eleanor had become a wonderful mentor, helping Michael with his studies and teaching Lily to bake. Today they were making chocolate soufflés, and Lily was carefully separating eggs under Eleanor's watchful eye. "Perfect," Eleanor praised. "You have the touch of a natural baker." Lily beamed with pride. "Can we make these for Daddy's graduation party?" "That's still months away," Michael laughed from where he was installing a new light fixture. The online classes were challenging, but with Eleanor's help, his grades had never been better. "Did you hear the news?" Eleanor asked as she chopped vegetables. Michael paused. "What news?" "Thomas was let go from La Maison last week," she said, setting down her knife. Michael raised his eyebrows. "The rude host? What happened?"